Alright, howdy folks, welcome back. Sorry for the little delay in the stream there. We got all kinds of little settings that YouTube has done, and I missed one of them, and we were going to see our show sideways, and it's no good sideways. So we had to restart there, but thank you for your patience. Welcome back, everybody. I hope everybody's hanging in there, doing okay. I know times are getting a little tough with the season and all, and trying to do Christmas shopping on a limited budget. Ooh, do I understand you guys? Alright, let's take a peek. We're here, December 2nd, 2023. We got the loop playing here. And, hang on just a second. Right at the very beginning, the opening frames, we had a big event, and the day before is missing. So, wait, let me get this started again. Catch it at the very beginning of the loop here. Right there. Alright, let me back that up a little bit. Alright, this opening frame right here, I want you to look at the blast radius going out here and way down here. All right, this looks reminiscent. It's a signature of that bigger object. All right, this looks like one of those impact zones or a damage ring right here on the face of a bigger, much bigger object. All right, like I said, the frames before this, because this is the opening frame of December 2nd, the closing frames of December 1st are missing. So we don't get to see what exactly happened here, but it looks to me with this damage ring right here that this was the big object. It's probably like this big right there, and you can see the flow going around its magnetic field there. And then you can see after this goes by, you see this little object down here. You see another one up here. You'll see all kinds of little moons or satellite objects trailing this bigger one. Like down here, over here. There, watch this. This is a sneaky guy over here. You see this one right here? Faint, but it's there. Another one down here. Here comes another. All right, here's another one. Possibly another one. And then this blast. Okay, that other one. All right, so I'm going to start this loop again. It's kind of hard to go through each one and zoom in on each one. And we have a very long earthquake report to do tonight. So let's just kind of let this speak for itself. I'll let the loop play for a second here. You can see all the different explosions we've had. Little small ones, we had the big one over here to the side. I'd love to see the frames leading up to it. In fact, let me just back out of this and take a peek and just see if maybe they have refreshed it. There's the first. No, there's only 88 frames. So this was yesterday while it loads up. And you see these two regions right here getting ready for something coming in. And then where's the very end? Right here. This is the opening series of that explosion right there. And then that was it. And that was the at 23:48. Oh, I guess maybe there is no missing data then, because 23:48, that's the closing. So let's go back. Yeah, it looks like maybe they have refreshed this, because I didn't remember seeing this little last bit right here. make out something right there, but that's the about the best frame from the first. All right. So it seems that regardless if we had the big one or not go by, there's all sorts of other little objects. But by the uh, by the looks of this frame, the opening frame here, let me just back it up real quick to this one again, real quick. Right here, this is a very widespread, big field of a flow there. You can see flow going straight this way at it, and then you see this ring. So it appears to be hitting the surface and spreading out in a circular fashion, just like we've seen before on the much bigger object. All right. I might be wrong, but then watch as it continues to spread over the surface of it. See those three frames right there? We're kind of, if I can get it back here, this seems to spread. Come on. So this circular seems to spread and go widen out around the whatever's going on there. All right. And then, like I said, you see all these other little objects following in tail along with it. That one, it's a good one. Maybe we'll just zoom in on it real quick while we have a good shot of it right here. I'm sure you guys can see it pretty well, but there's our dark circular spherical object. You can see the plasma, this magnetic field around it. All right, so there's that. Oh, while we're here, I want to take a peek. We had some fresh data for tomorrow already. Oh, geez. All right, so this is already a sneak peek at the 3rd. All right, and you can see we have another event going on. Looks to be kind of out in front of us, but still kind of in our direction. So here's possibly another CME coming our direction. And note at the very tail end, something erupts right there. Okay, so we've already had another eruption and another object there on the 3rd already. Okay, so there's that. Now let's come over to the solar ham here real quick. Scroll up. Let me show you your GOES X-ray real quick. What, one more? There we go. Slide it over and scroll it up. All right. So you can see after this last event, I showed you today's activity right here. Boom, boom, boom. And it looks like it's tapering off, yet we saw some activity. So there's one little spike right here, a couple little peaks here and there. But then as we go into the next day, I already showed you we had that big event already, but it's not showing up here. So you be the judge about that. This might be a little delayed in its, because that was an eruption from the very moment. It should be spiking up like that or something. Anyways, I showed you what was coming off the sun on the 3rd, and I don't know, maybe we just haven't seen a response, or maybe it's just this little tiny dot right there. Anyways, so there's that. Let me zoom back out a little bit now and continue on. M flare potential 35%, X flare potential 10%. We have that big sunspot region 3500 rotating out of range now. So thankfully for that, let's slide on over here. Come on, you. Open up the KP index. You can just see here was our event. It was a double impact. There was one main one, and then it tapered off, and we had a second impact. And all the instruments showed a double impact. So even though they continue to still call it a cannibal CME, it kind of arrived in 2 different waves. So it didn't really cannibalize. It just came in 2 smaller waves. All right, so bing. You can see our current auroras right now are, mild, but still there. All right. So we are still taking on energy, and it's because we have this coronal hole that's turning facing the Earth now, and this is a big one. This we haven't had a big one like this in a while. So a lot of high solar wind speed and density coming out of this area, which is going to ramp up the absorption on the Earth. All right, right after we took one on the chin, we got this thing spinning our direction now and spewing, uh, a lot of particles, high speed solar wind and stuff at us next. All right, so kind of like the double whammy, we get hit with the CME and then we get hit with this coronal hole next. All right, right now I'm not showing too much absorption going on. You can tell, like I just showed you here at the auroras. Let's open up this tracker real quick. I thought I saw something on it earlier. Unless they... Oh, they're showing the CME going south here. Let me just zoom in now so you can see. All right, there we go. Showing it going kind of south in this direction, which is good. We don't need to take another one on the chin right now. All right, so that's a little good news there. All right, breathe a sigh of relief, even though we have that coronal hole turning to face the Earth now. All right, so get back out of that. Back out of this. Do we get through everything here? The geomagnetic storm appears to have finally subsided for now, although the solar wind speed remains elevated at 500 kilometers per second. All right, so we still have that high speed wind stream coming in, and it's still going to cause auroras. All right, you can see it still affecting us. The auroras were pretty faint earlier during the daytime today, so we did get a good breather there. We got a lull in activity. All right, so let's come over to this space weather real quick. Some beautiful shots of the aurora from New Zealand and stuff, but I want to just briefly read their article for you guys here, and that way you can see it too. A cannibal CME struck Earth's magnetic field, semi-cannibal. On December 1st, sparking a long G3 class geomagnetic storm with auroras in both hemispheres. We witnessed an incredible show at the Canterbury coastline overlooking the Pacific Ocean from New Zealand. The sound of waves crashing, blah, blah, blah. So there's your nice shot from the southern lights, all right? Meanwhile, the northern hemisphere auroras descended as far south as Arizona and California. So that's that seventh time we've had low latitude auroras. Okay, and there's some shots of that real quick. They were just showing this. Okay, so that was it from there. Let's come on over to the Schumann now. And you can see when we left off last night, we were starting to go into this little spike session. All right, and you can see we had a little scraping event right here down at this little range 2, but then we came out of it kind of weak, but then we're pulsing along again. There should have been a huge scraping event going on right here, but there isn't. Doesn't mean that this instrument's wrong or that the theory's wrong. What happened is all our energy got released at our quake. Because that quake is more than a 7.6, it has a huge flurry of quakes around it. So there's your Schumann. It was about to respond really hard, but then we had our earthquake right about there. Boom! It started getting, intense, and then we relieved pressure. You can see we had a little darkening right here. There was one about brief half hour where it got really weak for a second there. All right, real quick with the, come on over here to the null school. I'm going to show you the darkening here. Now, a little bit earlier, this was a lot darker. It had a lot of black patches in it, but right now at nighttime, well, we're in nighttime, but right now it's not as intense. This whole map was a lot darker just a little while ago. You can see here in America, we still have this like half the country spewing and the other half not so bad. But that is darkened up, had darkened up significantly, and now it looks to have lessened. So that's good. That's another good sign. The planet is breathing a sigh of relief. It got, pressurized from down below. It was either going to vent through an earthquake or a volcano. And now let's come over to our earthquake report, everybody. All right. The last person of the day to do the big story of the day. You've all heard about this quake. I'm sure you've seen plenty of reports on it and stuff. First off, what I want to say, this should be no surprise to people here at this channel. We were talking about this same thing last night. We were talking about the potential for a lot of energy, increasing magnitudes. We were talking about this region, this archipelago region becoming more active, and this is a new spot. I was talking more about, where was the other spot here? Wait, let me back out. Right over here. This new place of activity that we had seen over here had a 5.1, all right? So let's just kind of back up here and start our earthquakes from right here. Here's our deep one for the day, 4.9 down at 526. Still an indicator of activity down deep still. All blank through here. These are all older quakes from before. We had a bunch of series of 5s that had gone around the world. Right after I left off last night, there was another 5 right here. A 5 right there. Okay, those are the old ones that had just happened after last night. I was going to come back on because there was another 5 right here. 5.2 at a depth of 41. All right, so we were having this series of 5 quakes going along over here on this side. And then, even down here, a 5.5 at a depth of 10. All right, now as we get over here into our region, you'll see we have the mid-range 5 at a depth 5.5 at a depth of 121 right there. Just above it is a 5.0 and a 5.2. So that 5 energy was in the region, spreading out, going along the path. There's 4.5 there and a 4.4 there. Over here real quick. 4.7 at Sumatra. All right. Now let's go up to our quake area and let's get into this part, the part you've all been waiting for. All right, just a little while ago, while I was setting up, there were still quakes going off in this region. There was a red one, and then, a couple minutes later, there'd be another red one. But at this moment, it seems to have subsided a little bit. Now, this is quite the quake swarm because, let's just start off here, go in a little bit to our first quake, the big one. 7.6 at a depth of 32 kilometers, all right? It had the tsunami advisory. Apparently there was no tsunami. It got canceled. But there's your main quake. As we go into this big mess, let's pick out some of these bigger aftershocks. We're talking a 6.0 right there. 6.4 at a depth of 64 right there. Right next to it is another 6.2 at a depth of 18. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and here's another one, 6.2. So there's 4 6 magnitude plus aftershocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. All these other ones are no slouches at all. These are 5.5, 5.1, 5.6. You see what I'm saying? We come over here, 5.0, 5.8. That's almost a 6 as well. Down here we got 5.4. So all of these quakes are releasing energy. That's a huge release of energy. Usually it'll be, a big quake and then a few aftershocks, and the flurry will be of a smaller magnitude, more like twos and threes, not a flurry of fives and sixes, mid range fives and sixes. As we go through here, they're all fives, 5.1, 5.1 here, 5. Give me this one, please. 5.1 there. Some of these smaller ones are 4.6. Let me go through here real quick and try to find the smallest. Here's a small one. 4.7. Whoops. Smaller. 4.9. Whoops. Smaller. 4.7. I'm looking for the smallest. 4.6. 4.5. So you see what I'm saying? The smallest ones are still mid-range fours. All right, so this was a huge event, released a lot of energy. And I'm sure after this initial quake that scared the living daylights out of everybody, to continue to have quake after quake after quake, they're probably sleeping out on the street tonight. They're so rattled from all these quakes in one day. This is all just one since the quake, since the big one. That whole mess right there. Okay, and we back out here just a tad bit. I want you to kind of see where this lies on our system. All right, we have the two branches that come up this way, right up here and right up here. And it wasn't far down this branch that this weak spot, formed right here. This is a new weak spot in the crust, and it is kind of dominant. After this event, everything else around the world seemed to quiet down. Even the Schumann quieted down. Whoops. Even the Schumann quieted down. So when we were about to go into a big scraping event, we were either going to see volcanic blasts, but we saw this, and it wasn't just, one release of a 7.6. That's huge in itself, but then you add up all these other quakes that are with it. That's a couple other 7.6s, altogether. So we've had quite the energy release right here. And I think it's kind of a good thing. It's a good thing that it happened here. I know there's population along this coast and stuff and a lot of people, but it could have been in a worse region, all right? And expect that, we're going to see as this, next wave of energy comes in, it'll do the same effect, all right? This quake and this event is a perfect example of this whole show and what I'm trying to show you guys, all right? We get activity on the sun, comes our way, hits the atmosphere, lights up the auroras, but all that energy gets diverted to the poles. The poles send it to the core heats up and swells. It heats up the shell, the surrounding magma, and everything swells and expands when heated. So it's expanding from the inside out, from the core out in every direction, and snapping off these quakes on the weak points, all right? And the weak points are the plate boundary lines, especially fulcrum points, all right? A lot of what Dutch says is right. We agree on a lot of stuff, and he was calling for something similar in this area too. So we all it's not trying to predict an earthquake. Maybe he tries to, but I'm just trying to show you more how it works. So my whole point being, this event should be no surprise to my viewers, okay? Because we were talking about something like this in this region last night, okay? And I'm not trying to be like I told you so, or I'm an earthquake predictor or anything like that. I'm just trying to show you guys and warn you guys when we get these events, okay? A little bit of activity over here. We had checked on one of these. It was one of these, and the other one is not. So we have a 3.4 right there. That was it on the second. Yeah, that's the old one. So we had a 3.3 yesterday. There was the inbound energy of possibly 5. So that didn't seem like it released enough. But here's another quake, another 3.4 that has released some energy in the same region right there. And probably lessened the blow that's coming in. And look, there's not much on the map. There's nothing on the map. There's something over here at Salt Lake City that just happened though, but that's a 2.5. Yeah, I know they keep suppressing Dutch, but he'll fight on. There's well, I just pray for him. Everybody pray for him, okay? 4.3 over here at a depth of 132. This region again, we're going to have to watch this region because we had this 5.2 over here. Now, this is no slouch either, okay? The other day, a 5.2 would have been a pretty decent sized quake, right? But after this big one, a 5.2 seems like an aftershock. Well, over here, this is a 5.2. This is a decent sized quake for this region, kind of letting you see that this energy, that 5 magnitude energy, was being dispersed around the planet last night, just prior to our big quake. And now, since that big quake in this region and this whole event, now we're starting to see activity over here. We just had a recent quake here, and now this new one up here in Alaska, just now, 3.5. Okay, so it seems like energy's on the move. Again, it has kind of left this region because this was just popping off like a firecracker with a red one every 5 minutes, a new one every 5 to 10 minutes, and now there's nothing new in an hour. So it seems to have tapered off, and now pressure is shifted. Not shifted, but pressure, well, the release of pressure is being shifted. More up here, making over and coming down into America here. So we might see a little activity. I would say maybe, well, 3.5. 3.5, maybe 4 energy coming in. Now, usually I would say a lot higher because of this big event putting so much pressure on the plate and pushing over. You would expect to see a big event like this travel right up through the system and, hop over here and dump off a 6.5, right? But that's not the case. It's released so much energy in its own localized area that it's kind of quieted down the rest of the system, is what I'm trying to say. All right, so we do have a little bit of energy, like I said, here in Alaska, 3.5 being released, and then this 2.5 in Utah. Okay, so very, very big indicator, a good not symbol, but a good indicator of how this process works. All right, we were all watching last night, studying, the pathway this pressure was moving, and understanding that we had more pressure that was going to increase magnitude, and where to look for it. And it was in a different spot. I was looking at these new latest weak spots, but it created its own new weak spot. So it didn't happen at a certain volcano that's already there, or a certain weak spot that's already there. It created its own, it appears. Okay, because we haven't had a lot of activity at this site right here. So our new weak spot right here that we'll have to watch closely, all right? And we still have more energy and more pressure underneath, but it's not as intense now, all right? So I expect to see magnitudes going down now. We'll see some activity still, but the magnitude should drop. This was released a lot of pressure underneath, okay? So that's some good news. Even though it's bad news, it did release a lot of energy and is kind of saving the rest of the world. They kind of took a shot for us right there. All right, and it's possibly not over. There could be another pent up energy in this region that we haven't seen anything go off in a while. There might still be some volcanoes continuing to release pressure. All right, so there's that. And, okay, we need to close out some of these here and make room for my next part of the show here. Get rid of this one. All right, and real quick, this null school. So here's that pressure still in the region, or still, pushing up from underneath, pushing out SO2, sulfur dioxide. All right, so we'll get rid of this one now. And we'll even get rid of this. Please, Lord. I gotta do this or else the computer will jam up and we'll have to cancel the show like we did the other night. So, let's open up the weather and the volcanoes. So here's our volcano report today. Come on, slow computer. Maybe someday I'll get an upgrade and we can do a real show. Come on, turkey. Oh, it's because of all the ads. So we've had today's volcanoes: Klaichevskoy, Sangay, Nevada del Ruiz, Sabancaya. Even more. Let's open this up. So Etna still going off. Klaichevskoy or Klaichevskoy. Okay. Ebico still going off. Luotolo still going off. Krakatau still going off. All right. Popo still going off. Fuego, Nevada del Ruiz, Sangay, Reventador, Sabancaya, Urda Ale. All right, so all of our volcanoes are still going off. Okay, with the potential for new ones or semi-active ones going fully active still. All right. Let's come on over to the weather here. Open up that one. Oh, you're not late. I was early, Michelle. That's my bad. I'm usually not even going on this early, but there was no Marfugal tonight, so I figured I'd go on a little early. Okay, we'll go over it for you real quick when we finish this up. Let me get this started real quick. Let that loop play. You watch the West Coast over here as well. All right, there we go. Wow. That thing's still quite the monster moving through there. Oh. All right, so let's pause it, back it up a couple frames. There's our current conditions right now as this is leaving the West Coast. Still got rain through this region, snow up in here. Intense, severe weather coming onto the coast right here. Then we go into the morning of the 3rd now. You see the snow still here in the Rockies. We got severe weather still here on the coast of Oregon. These people prepare for some flash flooding and a lot of water because there's now what's the term I'm looking for? A flow that's going over you. I'll come up with the term here in a minute. Sorry, I'm so tired. Anyways, let's get back up real quick. From the nighttime to the morning of the 3rd into the noontime of the 3rd, all right, it intensifies even more. Icing event up here in Washington, snow on the backside, heavy snow up here in British Columbia, cutting all the way down to the Rockies right there. By noontime tomorrow, then we get into the end of convection here. Still severe weather off the coast of California here. Then we go into the nighttime of the 3rd. This is the morning of the 4th. The noontime of the 4th. the end of convection, and up here again with the severe weather. I might as well just scoot this whole thing over. I'm sorry, there we go. That's a little bit better. Yeah, severe weather up here, still in the Pacific Northwest, on the end of convection, December 4th. Then we go into the nighttime. It kind of goes up into the Puget Sound area. So watch out, Seattle, everybody up there. The night of December 4th. Going into the morning of the 5th, it's still severe. That's the noontime of the 5th. There's the into convection, going into the night of the 5th, morning of the 6th, noontime, the end of convection there, the nighttime of the 6th. All right, so most of our activities over here on the West Coast, we got some storms moving in here into the Rockies, the December 7th, even up into Canada. That's the noontime of December 7th, the end of convection here. Nighttime, okay, the morning of the 8th, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 9th. See all this moisture being drawn up by this big low right there? The noontime of the 9th right here. Then you see how it's starting to get these chances for severe weather down in here, as well as this next monster moving into the Pacific Northwest up here. That's the nighttime of the 9th, the morning of the 10th, the night of the 10th, or noon of the 10th, the end of convection on the 10th right there. That looks to be quite a mess for New York, up here into Canada, icing up in here, severe weather off the coast, even some up here into New England and Maine. Then as it goes into the nighttime, it really kind of winds up. There's a lot of high winds in this, a lot of blizzard conditions on the backside of this. These millibars are really tight, so there's going to be high winds, a lot of snow on the backside of this thing right there. That's the morning of the 11th, noontime, and by the end of convection, the 11th, it should be out of there. Going into the 12th, by the night of the 12th, we got some moisture coming up into Texas here, going severe through the night into the morning of the 13th. Right there is the noontime of the 13th, the end of convection right here on the 13th. So depending what happens on the sun the 10th, it could affect this storm right here. But this is kind of far out in advance, and it's kind of hard to predict that far. I'm just going to let these go frame by frame here now. Another big low that wraps up, puts snow in there. See this one? All right, so start that over, and oh, I can't think of this term. But we have this flow coming into the Pacific Northwest here, day after day after day after day. So with a little break there, but watch as we kind of get into that pattern. Boom, boom. All right, so there's that. So real quick, the volcanic thing one more time. Oh, never mind. All right, so we'll leave that there. Let me try opening up some other pages now. So let's go take that one and we'll change it to my Drop's birthday. What? Happy birthday, buddy. Alright, come on, my channel here. So, let's come on over to a nice image to read to. Pull that one up again. We haven't done it in a minute. Come on now. There we go, finally. So let's just freeze frame it when we can here. There we go, there's a good shot. Alright, that's probably good enough right there for a second. Let me get something to drink here. Oh. And then we'll start doing the reading. So, the moon I've watched, you're not seeing the moon. It might be a new moon phase, or it might just be coming up late right now, depending on your clouds and your horizon. If you have mountains around, it comes up later, depending on what's kind of blocking your view. Anyway, so there's that. Not the Pineapple Express, but what's the term? Atmospheric river. That's the term I'm looking for. There's the atmospheric river effect hitting the Pacific Northwest. So all you folks up there in the Pacific Northwest, be prepared for a lot of water. Okay, you're going to be seeing flash flooding and possible mudslides and stuff like that. So. Okay, let's see. Where do we start with this reading? I have a nice one picked out for us. But I want to do it properly here. Excuse me. All right, here we go. Come to me and rest. I am all about you, to bless and restore. Breathe me in with each breath. The way just ahead of you is very steep. Slow down and cling tightly to my hand. I am teaching you a difficult lesson learned only by hardship. Lift up empty hands of faith to receive my precious presence. Life, light, joy, and peace flow freely through this gift. When your focus turns away from me, you grasp for other things. You drop the glowing gift of my presence as you reach for the lifeless ashes. Return to me and regain my presence. Seek my face, and you will find not only my presence, but also my peace. To receive my peace, you must change your grasping, controlling stance to one of openness and trust. The only thing you can grasp without damaging your soul is my hand. Ask my spirit within you to order your day and control your thoughts, for the mind controlled by the spirit is life and peace. You can have as much of me and my peace as you want, though through thousands of correct choices each day. The most persistent choice you face is whether to trust me or to worry. You will never run out of things to worry about, but you can choose to trust me no matter what. I am an ever-present help in trouble. Trust me though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. In my presence you can find fullness of joy, perfect peace, and unfailing love. Walk with me along the path of life, enjoying my company each step of the way. Because I am always by your side, the joy of my presence is yours for the taking. I will keep you in perfect peace as you fix your thoughts on me. Stay in communication with me, though through your spoken words, thoughts, and songs. Spend ample time absorbing my word, letting it speak into your heart where it changes the way you think and live. As you ponder who I really am, my light shines warmly into your mind, helping you live in my peace. I want you to flourish in my presence like an olive tree flourishing in the house of God. As the sunlight of my presence nourishes you, you are able to produce abundant fruit in my kingdom. And the more you trust in my unfailing love, the more you will realize how utterly secure you are. You can find joy in the most unexpected places. However, this requires effort, searching for the good and refusing to let the natural responses blind you to what is there. I will help you respond in a supernatural way, giving you eyes that see beyond the obvious and discover treasure hidden in your troubles. Simply ask me. Living joyously is a choice. Since you inhabit such a sinful, broken world, you must choose gladness many times a day. This is especially true during difficult times. When something happens that breaks the pattern of comfort and happiness in your life, you are being put to the test. Such trials can both prove and strengthen your faith, which is much more precious than gold. I am training you to consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds. I made an agonizing choice to endure the cross for the joy set before me, the eternal pleasure of bringing my followers to glory. Choose joy, beloved, by fixing your eyes on me and looking for treasures in your trials. Okay? So, treasures in your trials. That's what it's really all about. How well you take them on and respond to it. Thank you. Thank you, Jimmy. I hope that helps some people, help people relate a little bit, bring you guys some peace and a little bit of security, and, know that you're protected supernaturally. Okay? That's why it's important to get into the Word and read and understand how you are protected supernaturally just by believing. Pretty easy, huh? Well, not for everybody else. But you're truly blessed here at this channel, and I'm so thankful I was able to capture this and bring this to you, and I'm so thankful that I'm able to still bring you guys the solar reports and everything. I've been through a lot, and to be able to bring this stuff to you, so I'm just grateful that I still can. All right. I think that's it for tonight. Is that it, Lord? We did notes and anything? Um, just real quick. Oh, looky here. New activity at our spot, real quick. You see this red one right here? Hopefully. There we go. But we got a new one right there. A 4.8. Okay, so something else I was going to say about this is after the original quake, the original aftershocks were in the 6 range, then started dropping down to mid 5 range, lower 5s, and this latest one is now 4.8. Remember, we were looking for the smallest quake, and we were finding, 4.7? So the quakes are getting smaller, but they're still in the 4.8 range, all right? And I expect we'll probably see a bunch more out of this area. It's not over yet, all right? It's just calming down at the moment. And let me just take a peek real quick. Anywhere else? Just that one in Alaska. All right, so yeah, that's it for tonight. I love you all. God bless you all. I miss you all. I hope you enjoyed the show. You know what? Before we wrap it up, I got a few more minutes really quick. Anybody want to ask a question while I thank everybody? You pop one into the chat. Thanks, Hopkinson, Shastina, Michelle, Drop. Happy birthday, bud. Leslie, thank you. What is that? I can't read it. Leah? No. Leslie, yeah. Okay. Michelle. Who else was here? It's Michael, I thought. And I'm just kind of. Oh, General Sorrow. That was a new one. Welcome to my channel, sir or ma'am. Yeah, there's Michael. Michelle. Alright, yeah, just the regular folks. Oh, good, good, good. Well, welcome, General Sorrow. Hopefully you enjoyed the show and learned some. Here's a Russian one. Can't even read it. So small. So a few new members. Good, good, good. Well, welcome to my channel. Hopefully you enjoyed and you learned something. And here we go. I'm old, just don't get around here often. Oh, okay. You've been around here. You're an old guy, but you just haven't been around that often. Nope. You know why I'm here. Nothing to say. Oh, that's okay. I love you, Drop. You're a good man, dude. And Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy was here too. Okay, so, well, thank you all for coming. God bless you all. You all have a good night. Hang in there. Continue to pray for each other. You guys are doing a lot better. And we're winning souls. We're winning souls. That's what this is all about. So just keep going to town is all I can tell you until the end. Hang tight and stand your ground and keep praying for each other's strength and endurance. All right, that's it for tonight. I love you all. God bless you all. I miss you all. And until my next show, I'll be back. I am back. Can't you tell?